I beg your pardon, Minister, for the delay. It's not our best politeness to make the Minister waiting, but the speech of my friend Philippe was so convinced and so a good question raised to the Minister that I'm sure she will be say yes to your proposal. Minister, thank you for coming. It's the second time. You were there last year and you afforded us more than 2 hours of discussions and questions. So we are very grateful for your presence today as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear Christian, and thank you very much, all of you, to be here today. You do know that health sector is absolutely top priority for the President and French government. And I like Philippe Pouletti because he keep on proposing the same thing, but changing the marketing aspect of it. So I like this creativity around the thing. Obviously, we are moving forward, and I will try to give you a few insights regarding what are the new package we want to offer to the investors, and a new package that is clearly set not only to support innovation, but also industrialization, because we do know that deep tech do not have exactly the same financing cycle than, I would say, startups. This is exactly what you have on the table, dear Philippe, with Carbios or with other companies. And we do believe that we need to invest in breakthrough innovation, but also to enhance the way we support startups who have deep tech projects, to ensure that they have first proto line and they have industrialized production line afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to meet with again with investors and companies of the health tech sector. It is at the heart of our innovation capacities, and it is the future of health. And the pandemic we are facing has revealed our shortcomings and need for resilience, which also confirmed the intuition of President Macron. As you know, and I mentioned the point last year, President Macron reinvested the health sector 3 years ago. So at least he has some kind of flavor that it was really a top priority. Since 2017, the health sector is one of our economic priorities. We wish to work forward building a high-performance innovation ecosystem in France. And that is why we want to boost the health tech ecosystem and stimulate innovation. We took several actions to strengthen France's attractiveness in the health tech sector. And please allow me to share this again, even if it might be a repetition of what I've said last year, but you know that pedagogy is based on repetition. So the French government has put on top of its priorities support to the industrial ecosystem. During this government's tenure, we have delivered on a fiscal agenda with, for example, the gradual decrease in corporate income tax from 33% to 25% by 2022. And that will be delivered. That is done now. We have also cut the production tax by 12 billion euro. We do know it was a blocking element for investing, and we have really decreased this production tax. We have also implemented a flat tax on capital gains. And this is also really needed for investors that take risk. I don't know if Laurent will comment upon that, but he clearly have in his role of controlling the government of what is the budget and how we have proper investments, but good use of public financing. I think a great view on that. And we have stabilized the research tax credit. We also wanted to ease business life. We do know that red tape is not, well, the best asset we have in France. So we have lightened the labor code, simplified the daily life of investors with this effort to avoid red tape and to ease the capacity to settle new production lines in France. Health industries represent a major focus for the government's economic policy. Over the past year, the recovery plan for health industries has been very successful. More than 140 projects, so 140 projects, have been supported for a global overall investment of 25 billion euros. So that is new production lines, new sites that are now supported by the French government in all areas of the health sectors. The framework in which businesses in the health sector carry out their activity is also now more attractive. I think especially of two reforms. First reform is simplifying temporary use authorization for innovative drugs. We do know it was also a blocking point. And second reform is renegotiating the framework agreement on drug pricing to send a very clear message to companies. France is a great place to invest, develop and manufacture innovation, and we take into account innovation, industrial investments and exports to set drug prices. So it's a win-win game. With the Health Innovation Plan 2030 announced by the President in June, we will massively invest in health tech and health innovation. So this is new. This is a new part of the plan. The 2030 Health Innovation Plan draws lessons from the health crisis and sets France new ambition, becoming one of the leading European sovereign nations in terms of innovation and health. This will be achieved notably through support for industrialization of medicines, in line with the objectives of reshoring production sites in Europe and in France, pursued as part of the recovery plan. I will not enter into details because I know that Thierry Breton has taken time to explain what is his strategy for Europe, but I will come afterwards on that. We support this strategy and we try to anticipate it at the national level. We will go deeper in simplifying a market access for innovations. We will grant immediate market access after the authorization by the French National Health Authority, HAS, with a 2-year test period for the new procedure. So this is inspired by the German example, and this is not to be quite effective. So we use benchmark and we apply and get inspired by those benchmarking approaches. Our goal is to achieve a market access time for medicines and medical devices inferior to the European targets. In this 7 billion euro plan, we will also reinvest in R&D and clinical trials. We wanted to go faster and better on a short list of topics. First, 800 million euro to support the development of biotherapies and accompany the development of the necessary industrial plants in order to no longer depend 95% on foreign biotherapies. Second, 650 million euro to move towards 5P medicine, that is preventive, personalized, predictive, participative, and evidence-based medicines, thanks to digital technology and to bring out French champions. And third, we will invest 750 million euro to prepare for pandemics and to be ready to respond to them in France. We will also build a consistent action at the European level. Then I'm moving towards what Thierry Breton shared earlier this day. France wants to promote European strategic autonomy. The point is to be sustainable. The point is to be competitive. But we need to address our market and to be able to face any pandemic that can happen. And we do know that that can happen, and maybe earlier than expected. The French strategy of reinforcing production capacities in the field of health must be carried out at the European level. This is clear for us. Pooling our resources is the most efficient way of ensuring French and European health resilience. In this respect, we are promoting the launch of an important project of common European interest. You know, IPCEI. This is a tool that helps European members to invest heavily in one sector, and we want to invest heavily in the field of health with 1.5 billion euro at the level of France. So you can imagine if Germany invests, if Netherlands invest, if Belgium invest, that can represent a huge amount of money invested in the health sector. The IPCEI specifically targets projects ranging from R&D to the first industrialization, enabling France to capitalize on its leading position in the scientific field and to strengthen its industrial fabric. And the IPCEI will respond to major issues of health sovereignty highlighted by the COVID crisis and will enable the EU to position itself as a leader in the strategic therapeutic areas of tomorrow. And once again, the national strategy is mirroring with the European strategy. So we are pushing more or less the same areas of therapy at the national level and at the European level. We want a pre-notification of this IPCEI to the Commission in the first half of 2022. And in the meantime, we will have fortnightly working groups organized to refine the scope of the IPCEI. Finally, France also supports the emergence of a HERA authority with reference to the BARDA model in the United States. This agency should bear, from our perspective, a strategic vision, stimulate innovation in the health sector, and support crisis management. The authority, which should be, I hope, operational by 2022, will be responsible for assessing potential threats, supporting research and innovation, and ensuring that sites are available to produce sufficient medical supplies if needed. As you can see, we have a wide range of actions to defend one of our top priority, health. If the key message is, the key takeaway of this conference is health is a key top priority for France, I think you have understood the message. But to achieve our goals, we need you. Investors, startups, bigger pharmaceutical companies, we need you. This is also the second key messages and takeaway of this conference. To develop and manufacture innovative solutions in France to fund risky projects, and clearly we are ready to fund risky projects, and to help talents come to France to create or join ambitious, innovative companies. So last key message is, if you have a project, please come to us at the Ministry of Industry, because we will be more than happy to see how we can help. Thank you very much. Maybe I have, sorry, I'm a bit too quick. Maybe I have to answer some questions. But do you have questions?
Minister, President Macron announced this morning, and you also pointed out, that the replication of the German approach to reimburse digital health applications might be taken up. Now we have two big economies, Germany and France, who will take the same approach to reimburse digital health medicines. So what a powerful system could we have in Europe if all countries would align on that? So that first time we would have one single market for digital health applications. Do you think that would be feasible? Do you think, or which steps do we have to take together? Of course, first 2 strong players going hand in hand, and then maybe getting some further ones to really make that possible. That would be so helpful for all the startups who are not able to get reimbursement on that matter so far.
So, first of all, I do support the fact that if we had a single market for health sector as a whole, that would be very powerful when compared to the US market or even the Chinese market, because the startup will have access to a 450 million people market, which is clearly needed when you invest heavily in research and development and you have to amortize your costs on as many people as possible. So this is clearly the first point. Second point, regarding digital application. Yes, I believe we need to have a European approach, and this is what we favor as a country each time we can to move forward with European approach, because this is clearly more powerful than only national approach. We have proven with the vaccination that even if it was not a competence of the European Commission, we were in a position to move forward all together when we were under pressure. So a question is, how can we, convert that to a normal way of working? And this is a kind of a subject I would be more than happy to take into account when we will have the French presidency of the European Commission, working hand in hand with the health sector. I will be the president for the Competitive Council and internal market. So you can imagine competition on the one hand, internal market on the second hand. And if we can move forward with the health sector, with the health council, that would be really interesting. We need now to accelerate the way European Commission and the countries take decisions. My hope is that the crisis we've been through and we're still in is a waking call for Europe to change the way it addresses as a whole strategic questions. We have seen that when we were all together, that was really helpful, that avoid, individual behavior that was quite noxious, and we managed to deliver great things. But this is not a given. So if you can help us, I mean, I'm more than convinced that as companies, as investors, you have also the power to move your own governments to push in that direction, for that we remove our specific national interest and see that the European interest on most industrial questions is most of the time more positive than national specific interest. But once again, that's not a given. What I can tell you is that diagnostic is one of the areas on which we are currently investing in the relaunch plan. So I would say, as a feedback, based on facts and data, in the 140 projects we are now supporting, diagnostic do have not a bad amount, is representing a significant percentage of those projects. Second, we have seen acceleration in innovation in diagnostic, not only for human health, but also for animal health, but also regarding question around agriculture. And this is something on which we would like to invest. You can imagine having the possibility to directly know what kind of disease is happening in this field without having to commute with one part of the plant, try in a huge laboratory to measure what is at stake, come back, etc. So there are some area in which we believe there is a great interest to invest. So as a whole, I believe that diagnostic will be also seen as a quite interesting area for innovation. Same for dispositif médical, devices, medical devices. Vaccination obviously is knowing great acceleration when it comes to innovation, and we are all, thrilled to know if we can use this ARN thing to other kind of pathologies. You can imagine if we could have an HIV vaccine in the coming years, or chikungunya or whatever, that will be absolutely fantastic. So now I cannot say what would be the proportion of each area that would be supported, but we can see that there is expansion of number of projects we would like to support, and with real impact on life of our citizens. So that would be clearly what we want to focus on, impact on citizens.